to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Jessie. My husband and I are on a journey to become debt-free. We have been on this journey for a while now, kind of stopping and starting, but really have been focusing for the entirety of 2020. I am here to sit down today and share with you my budget for the week of September 15th. It is the third paycheck in the month of September. My husband is our main source of income. He works full-time while I am a stay-at-home mom, and he gets paid every single Tuesday. He's paid based on commission, so his paychecks fluctuate. They are not the same every single week. So those are some of the circumstances that we are working with. I have already written out my budget. The last video that I sat down and filmed ended up being way longer than I expected. So in an attempt to keep this one a little bit shorter, I went ahead and wrote everything out ahead of time, and we're just going to go over it together. So I don't share income totals. My husband would prefer that I not share that information, and I respect that. So we're just going to go ahead and skip ahead to the bills section. I didn't mention, but if you're new here and you don't know, I am working in my Budget by Paycheck Workbook. This is from the Budget Mom. She just opened up pre-orders for her newest version of this workbook, so check out thebudgetmom.com if you're interested. I have last year's version and I have the printable version, which I love because I can just print the pages that I love, leave off the pages I don't. Nothing goes to waste. Alright, so let's talk about bills. Under my bills category, I list anything that is going to be paid through my bank account. So, yes, my typical weekly bills, but also anything that I use my debit card for, essentially. So, very first thing under bills, even though it's not technically a bill, is grocery. I have a family of 4 and I budget $150 for our groceries for the week. That keeps us fed. So that is what I've done for the week. Sometimes I will switch it up, but for the most part I stick with this $150 and it works out really well for us. Next up, I have my household expenses, and for that I've budgeted $25 for the week. So if we need paper towels this week or we need dish soap this week, that will come out of this $25 budget. Now we're moving into our actual bills. So we have Boost Mobile here, which is our mobile phone service. We have 4 lines, unlimited talk, text, data, that sort of thing. We pay $130 a month for that, which I think is very reasonable. It's sort of a pay-as-you-go thing. There's no contract, so we really, really love that. We've been using Boost Mobile for like 15 years or something. A really long time. Next up, we have State Farm. This is a credit card. It's a State Farm Visa card, and this $25 that I've budgeted is for the minimum payment on that card. My husband and I use the debt snowball method to pay down our credit cards, so we pay the minimum payments on all of our cards, and then we pay extra to the card with the lowest balance. The State Farm Visa card is the card we are currently working on, so later when we talk about the debt snowball, that money will be going towards that card as well, but this $25 I've budgeted is just for the minimum payment. Next up, we have Amazon. This is also a credit card, also a minimum payment, and I've budgeted $125 for that. I believe our Amazon card is the card that has the highest balance. It's up there. We won't be tackling this card for a little while. For now, we're just paying the $125 minimum payment. And lastly, we have my camper payment. My husband and I do have a loan for a travel trailer. We pay $200 a month for that, and that is due this week, so I've budgeted the $200 for that. So when you add all of these numbers together, our bill total for the week is $655. Can you guys see? Do I need to zoom you in a little bit? I'm sorry. I'm really bad about knowing how far to zoom in and out, so hopefully you guys can see that. So that takes care of bills. That's everything that I leave in my checking account for bills. Our extra debt snowball actually gets left in the bank as well. Everything else is done in cash. So, speaking of cash, we have my cash envelopes. So under this envelopes category are all of my weekly expenses that I use cash for. So this cash is something that we will use throughout the week. When I talk about sinking funds and savings and things, that is money that gets saved for a future week, but this is what we will go through this week in terms of spending. So first up, I have my son, Austin, who is 12. He's done some extra chores around the house lately. I tend to give him a little bit of cash about once a month, very small amount. It's not like a true allowance. There are things that he is expected to do around here just as part of his responsibilities, but this is on top of that, it's extra. So my oldest son is 17. He has a job and he gets money pretty regularly from that he can use for his personal spending and stuff. Austin's still too young for that, so I just give him a little bit of cash here and there as he earns it for extra stuff. Next up, I have my husband, Eric, and this is his personal spending money, so this is money that he can spend throughout the week on whatever he chooses, and we budget $40 for that. Next, I have my personal spending, which is also $40. Pretty easy peasy. Next, we have miscellaneous. Miscellaneous encapsulates everything else in the budget. So anything that isn't listed anywhere else is taken care of with this miscellaneous category. Sorry, you guys, if you can hear that outside. I have the garbage truck picking up our trash. But yeah, I like to budget $50 every single week in miscellaneous spending so that we have it should we need it. Something comes up that I didn't prepare for, sort of my little backup plan. I also have a buffer in my account that can help with that sort of thing, as well as an emergency fund for, an emergency. I'm all about the backup plan, so that takes care of that. Next up, we have gas. I budgeted $40 for the week. That will take care of gas in my Subaru as well as in our little Saturn. The Saturn is actually my son's car. He does not have a license yet. He's just using it to get his driver's training hours, and then he will take his driver's test in that. I believe in October that's going to be happening. So we don't drive both cars. We drive one or the other, so $40 will definitely cover gas for that. And lastly, we have eating out. If we decide we want to get a pizza this week or go to a restaurant for a little family meal, we've got $30 to do that. So that's it. Added everything up, and that gives us $220 to stuff our cash envelopes, which you will see my cash envelope stuffing video on Friday. All right. So that takes care of our bills and our weekly spending. Next, we have sinking funds. If you're not familiar with sinking funds, this is a strategy of saving for things that we know are coming. Things that happen on a regular basis, but not necessarily a weekly or monthly basis. So Christmas is covered with a sinking fund. It happens once a year. We know it's coming. We save a little bit of money throughout the year so that when Christmas rolls around, we don't have to take a huge hit in our budget. We've already saved that money up. You don't really notice $20 coming out of your weekly budget. You would notice $1,000 though, so that's what sinking funds are for. We just, stick aside little bits of money here and there for these things so that they're covered. I have a lot of sinking funds. I have, I think like a dozen, but I only focus on a couple at a time. So this week we are focusing on our campground fund as well as our hunting fund. So I talked about my travel trailer that we have. We have that on a campsite and it sits there all year round. It's just set up permanently there. We have to pay an annual fee for that. That's coming due at the end of October. It's around $1,350, I believe, so we've been saving up a little bit here and there throughout the year so that when that comes due, it's not a burden to pay it. We're going to stick $100 into our campground fund this week. Next up is hunting. My husband is an avid hunter. He looks forward to hunting season all year. So we've been saving up a little bit of money here and there so that he can do things like purchase his hunting license as well as any supplies that he needs, that sort of thing. So we're going to stick $50 in that hunting fund this week for a total of $150. It is always my goal to save at least $150 a week towards my sinking funds. The funds themselves might change depending on what goals we're working on, but this $150 is pretty much the amount I take every single week. Not all the time if we have a shorter paycheck because my husband didn't bring in as much money this week, or if we have other goals we're trying to work on, we might. Sorry about that, you guys. I just got a phone call and I don't not even remember what I was talking about. But I think I was wrapping up sinking funds for a total of $150. And that takes care of sinking funds this week. Next up, we have our extra debt. So this is what I was talking about with the debt snowball. Over the course of the year, we have managed to pay off quite a few credit cards. They were smaller balances, but we were able to check those off the list, and every time that we pay off a card, we take the amount that we were paying in that minimum payment and we add it to our debt snowball. We like to tackle our debt on a weekly basis, so I added up all of those amounts and divided them by 4, since most months have 4 weeks, and that leaves us with a total of $150 every single week to pay towards debt. So that's our debt snowball. We take that $150, we pay it to the card that is lowest on our list, that has the lowest balance. Right now, like I said, that's a State Farm Visa card, so every week I'm paying $150 to that card, and once that card is paid off, the $25 minimum payment that we were paying will get added to this debt snowball amount, and we'll move on to the next one. So $150 to our snowball. I also have a little line item here for extra. I don't have anything budgeted for that, but the way that I have been handling my budget is I sit down every week and tally up what I actually spent in my budget results videos. And if I have spent less than what I budgeted for example, if I budget $150 for groceries, but I only spend $120, that extra $30 gets sent as an extra debt payment. So I don't have anything budgeted here because I don't know that I'm going to spend less than I anticipate, but I just wanted the space here so that when I do my reconciliation at the end of the week, I can put in an actual amount. So nothing budgeted, but hopefully we'll do really well with our budget this week and we'll have some extra money to send to that State Farm Visa card at the end of the week. Lastly is extra savings, and as you can see, I've crossed that out because we're not going to do any sort of extra savings this week. A lot of times I'll stick $50 aside just as extra money to do whatever with, but this week decided against it. Just didn't seem like it was necessary this week. Would rather focus on some of my other goals here. So no extra savings this week. The great thing about budgeting on a weekly basis is you can change your mind a lot. So while there's no extra savings this week, next week we may save double, just depends. So personal finance is personal. Do what works best for you. That's what I've chosen to do this week. So that's it, you guys. Easy peasy budget this week. I'm pretty excited about the week to come. Everything should go pretty smoothly. I've been trying to keep my budgets as simple and easy as possible, so really, really happy with this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I'm going to have linked down below everything that I used in this video, the pens that I like to use, as well as some of my other favorite budgeting tools, so definitely check out that resource if you are interested. And I will see you guys on Friday for my cash envelope stuffing. So till then, bye guys!